Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome to the SHEnanigan podcast, where we bring the human back to small business because we can have serious conversations anytime. SHEnanigans is happily supported by WCTV and their podcast studio right here in Wadsworth. Today's guest, is my small business friend Laura, owner of Serene Designs Co right here in Wadsworth. And when I think back to the moment that Laura and I met, I will always remember her walking in the door to my first pop-up retreat, giving Mama Bear hugs and bringing that sweet, serene energy. Please welcome my jewelry making buddy, Laura.
Hey, let's chat away. Small towns, big dreams in the fray. Grab a seat, come on, stay. Community shines bright today.
Hello, my jewelry making buddy, Laura.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Perfect. All right. So we're going to get right into it. Let us break the ice.
Okay.
So we're going to do things a little bit different this time. We're going to continue the conversation while eating the candy.
Oh, goodness.
We're going to see if we can do that.
Okay.
Okay. So you're going to be the first. So
Okay.
we're going to have our conversation, but you're the one that chooses which way this goes. So you pick the candy.
Oh, gosh.
Are you excited?
I am very excited.
Okay, good. She's going to pick the candy, and shout out to Sugar Social.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Lillian gives us the candy. Okay.
A little more tame.
A little tame. I like it. Okay. Let's get the bag open. Do you have a preference of color?
I don't.
Do you remember having these when you were a kid?
I do. It's very nostalgic.
So we got, pick the colors. Do you guys remember these? I mean, come on. Now, did you chew the wax? What was your process before we get to talking?
I did. So I would kind of bite the top off and chew it, and
Okay.
then I would go for the juice.
Go for the chew, then you
the
chew
juice,
it?
yeah.
Oh, the juice. All right, well, I'm going to copy you. So we're going to be really awkward chewing on wax, having a conversation. There's nothing wrong with that, right? We can do what we want.
Sure.
We own businesses.
And people love us.
All right. Oh, you're going to twist.
We'll see.
All right.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. I'm going to bite. I'm just going to be awkward. Oh, no. Well, there's that, folks.
That is not how I remember it.
I don't either. And now I have orange juice all over my...
Oh,
It's fine.
no.
It's fine. It's dribbling down my face. All right, so let's talk about business.
Yeah.
Did you have your juice?
I did, yeah.
All right. So
It's like a strawberry cherry flavor.
I know. I'm trying. It's a lot harder than I remember as a
Yes.
kid. So they're not using the same wax. Let's just put it out there. And it's a little bit more sour. All right. So if you're just joining us, I have stuff all over my shirt because, well, I didn't follow you. So next time we'll twist off the cap. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Did that calm you down?
Well, yeah.
A little sugar to get you going and a little wax to calm you down. Okay, so truth be told, we had a conversation a couple months ago when I went to Costa Rica. I went to Costa Rica, and I obviously brought multiple books with me. And I was reading All the Cool Girls Get Fired. And I promise you, I don't know what brought me back to a conversation we had, but I messaged two people, and you were like the number one person I messaged as I was reading this book. And again, you and I don't know each other super well outside of our businesses and we're neighbors on the other side of Wadsworth. And
Opposite sides of the square.
yeah, you give good hugs and you come to pop-ups and, you're a really awesome, supportive small business who I personally love. And I'm wearing your earrings. I don't know what made me think of our conversation during the retreat that we had. And I don't remember it being long. Do you remember this conversation being long?
I don't. It was very quick.
It was,
You just
but-
kind of asked how I got into it.
Correct. But it must have been, maybe it was the first time I had a conversation with somebody that also understood that feeling of being fired, right? So I sent you this book, and I was like, I don't know, what did I say to you? You got to read this?
Yeah, you need to read this.
You need to read this. And truth be told, I actually had to ask you, can you remind me how the story went? Because all my brain went is I know who to send this to. So All the Cool Girls Get Fired. You did what did you just tell me? You did the audio
I
book?
did the audiobook on
And-
Audible.
Yeah, and I did the digital version. I don't know, what stuck out to you? I mean, we should probably tell people what the book is about, but I think the title says it all. All the cool
For
girls
sure.
get fired. we can high five. Let's go.
Absolutely. And then they start small businesses.
And then hey, man. I actually brought this little notebook that I started specifically for the book because it was just slapping me in the face with, if you only thought of that, if someone had only told you that, if you had only written that down, maybe you would have acted this way. So we'll get into it, but like, what are your thoughts on the book? Because I just keep yapping about this book.
I mean, it validated everything that I felt, because I was laid off twice within like a 3-year span.
Yeah.
Which that book brought that back. But it really validated everything that I went through, everything that I was feeling, how I reacted, and how I reacted after the fact, and then what I did after the fact.
Right. Remind me to ask you how you reacted, because nail on the head. I was going in the book, I picked it up because it was trending, and I was like, well, I got fired. Let me see what they had to say about what I did or how I got fired. And I think that was one of the things for me as I passed the book along to people is it will show you how you reacted. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The other thing that was really important to me that I heard in the book that I did not even think about, and I'm curious what you think, when they talked about that piece of it hurts so bad because when you go to get a job, you promise to give yourself to these people. So you are not only signing their contract, you're giving them yourself as a contract. Mm-hmm. And when they tell you without a discussion, this contract is over, it kind of pulls the rug under your feet. Did you feel any connection to the way they were describing that? Because for me, I was like, aha, well, no wonder why I acted the way I did.
Yeah, 100%. I felt like they went back on a mutual agreement that we entered in together, and I didn't have a choice in it.
Yeah, correct. So remind me, I peaked a little bit, which I broke my own rule, which is a rule I do in business when I'm interviewing people, and a rule I do here is I like to go in fresh because then I feel like I have the perspective of the audience. You know, I don't want to go in knowing anything mostly, except for like where I'm driving and, you know.
Sure.
Remind me your story. Let's dive in. Let's talk about it.
So do you want the whole or do you want the most recent part?
You give me a synopsis of what it meant, that journey to you in relation to the book.
Okay.
So remind me.
So
What did we talk about at the retreat?
So we talked about my most recent employer. And I was hired in there like right at the start of 2020. And I was hired as an HR generalist. And I was in charge of hiring. I was in charge of interviewing, doing any of the onboarding, things like that, follow-ups, and then also employee relations in the plant as well. So when I started, it was kind of like throwing me to the wolves. Like I wasn't familiar with the position, but it was something that I had had some experience with in the past at other positions. And so when I started there, like I just kind of went ground running and I got my feet wet into every aspect of HR. And then like May hit and then we were laid off because of the pandemic. Everybody went through it in 2020.
Yeah.
So at that point, like I wasn't prepared for how that was all going to hit me. And several months went by and then I ended up getting hired back. But that layoff set in motion the plans that I didn't even think about that would come to fruition 3 years later.
Yeah. And that was the second time you had been fired?
That was, yeah. So the first time I was with Ritzman's Pharmacy when they had sold to CVS.
We can say that now because they're not around.
Yes. So I was there almost until the very end. I was one of probably with the last, like, I want to say 5 or 6 people left at the corporate office before they were done.
So you had that feeling already, and I'm sure that was your first time ever getting
That was my
fired.
that was my first time ever being laid off.
So what was that feeling in relation to like some of the stuff we read in the book?
It was hard.
Yeah.
Especially with that because we had grown such big bonds, like deep bonds with the people we worked with there. Because we were there in that corporate office for days on end, like hours a day.
Yeah.
And you build relationships, and then
Someone tells you it's over.
Yeah, and they like everybody was like leaving one by one, and it's like seeing family members leave and like never seeing them again.
Correct.
And we would have a lunch group that went to lunch every single day, whether it was in the cafeteria there or whether we went off site, and the same group of people went. Like we were a family, and it was heartbreaking.
Did that prepare you for the second time? And also, I think I forgot that they brought you back. So that's a weird feeling in and of itself. Like,
Yes.
forget you goodbye, but hang on, I need you.
Yeah.
So did Ritzman bring you to the second place with a different, how'd you handle that?
Well, I was there with them until the end.
Yeah.
So my recent employer was the one that brought me back.
Yeah. So how was that feeling the second time you were let go? Oh.
It was hard.
Yeah.
It was a completely different situation though.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even prepare for it or like know what to expect or know how I was going to feel or have like even like an inkling of a heads up like, hey, this is what you need to do, because it was a fully different situation. And I think it was almost to the max of my unemployment where I finally got a job. And I was getting ready to start that job, and literally the Friday before I was going to start that Monday, my former boss called me, and she said, I fought and fought and fought, and I need you back. And she pretty much gave an ultimatum
Oh, well, that's
to get me
nice.
back, which felt really good.
Feels good, but
it was completely different when I went back.
correct. And probably feels, I don't know, what's the word? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but does it feel muddier? It feels, I don't know, you'd be at a distance now.
I was treading lightly,
Yeah,
for sure.
and that's interesting that you took that job and didn't proceed forward, but everything happens for a reason.
Right.
And I know where the story's going. And that's probably why we had that small little bond as minute as it was at the retreat, because of those feelings are very similar when I was let go. You know, these people were at my baby shower. They threw me a baby shower. People had babies. They held my baby. My boss married me.
Aww.
Like, I mean, deep bonds. And then, you know, all of a sudden one day you think you've created a space that's safe to say, hey, if I see this coming, I'll let you know.
Right.
But as the book teaches you, at the end of the day, that's business. Mm-hmm. And there's a line in the sand. And so after time, you forget those things.
Yes.
And I know every business is different. That was a small business I was working for. And probably same with
Ritzman's
Pharmacy.
yeah.
They kind of probably gave you more of a conversation than some bigger corporations like they were talking about in this book.
Yes.
They just ripped it right out of them. So that's probably why we bonded a little bit. And our stories continue to be similar because what came out of that was our small businesses.
Yes.
So, and I think your small business story, it just fascinates me how you went from product to product, and you just, nothing ever stops you. And to this day, you have something new that you're doing. So you're like always leveling up that awareness of I'm a business owner and I'm going to be a business owner. And I love what being a business owner gives me. Okay.
Yes. We love a good pivot.
I love your story. Tell me, remind me.
All right.
Start with the cups.
Okay. So when I first was laid off, I, like many others, I went and bought a Cricut because everybody was buying a Cricut. Everybody
did
needed
not.
a hobby while they were home with their family.
That wasn't me.
So I bought a Cricut, which led me to paper crafting. And I did like shadow boxes, I did like paper flowers. And then I was watching YouTube and I found somebody making tumblers, like resin tumblers. So I was like, oh, well, that looks fun. Let's try that. And so my husband's probably going to watch this and just cringe because we have craft supplies everywhere in my house. But
Good for a snow day.
yes. But it was a lot of fun. And I saw like just the complexity of different cups that you can make and designs. And I was like, well, let's try that. So I invested in all of that and got that going and set up shop downstairs because those that don't know, epoxy resin is very toxic, especially when it's defuming. So that was downstairs and I was trying to get it as far away from my family as possible.
Your kids, you got
Yes.
two, right?
Yes,
Yep.
we have two.
Yep.
And so that was where my little workshop was down in like the catacombs of the basement. And I started that tumbler business, and that's when kind of like my business name kind of came to be because it brought me serenity. Like it brought me out of that dark place that I went when I got that call. I was being laid off. And from there, like I developed a
Goosebumps.
massive,
Oh, you just gave me goosebumps.
massive allergy to resin, right before like a big Christmas rush. And so I mustered through that. And at that time I was back at the office. And so I would go back with like hives on my face because it was how it was affecting me, even with wearing like organic face masks, everything. It would just affect me so much. And so I was like, well, Mike, I can't keep doing this. Like, this is affecting me, like my health, and it's affecting me mentally, and I have to find something else. So I stumbled across the most beautiful human who was a polymer clay artist. And she also did resin tumblers, but she did 3D effects on them. And we've become such good friends. Like, she lives out on the West Coast, and I've never met her in person, but we're such
Speak
dear
it, believe
friends.
it, receive
I know.
it.
I was like, I need to make that trip happen. Disney's out there, so we'll just kind of slide in there. But she taught me how to work with polymer clay on cups. And so when I started getting these allergic reactions, I was like, well, what can I do next? Because I can't keep going this way. It's not
But
healthy.
this bug has been bit, correct?
Yes.
So,
yes.
and were you always a creative?
I was, yeah.
As a kid, were you coloring and you'd rather be in art class? Right.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Isn't that funny how we forget that that's who we are? Because
yeah.
maybe like society tells us you're supposed to get a big girl job.
And parents.
And parents. And the seat I'm sitting in today, I'm like, I would convince my teachers to do videos of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest instead of
Yes.
writing a paper.
Yeah.
So it's so funny that I let go of that kid. And I think in the book, don't they say, if you ever get fired, remember who you were when you were 10? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or have that conversation with a friend to have them remind you of who you were
of
in
who
that,
you
for that
were
former
when
life.
you were, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So here we go. We're
So-
kicking off the...
So I started with clay, and I was like, well, what can I do with clay? And so back to YouTube, and I was like, I can make jewelry with this. I'm like, are you serious? So it's like, I've always been like, I've loved accessories. I've never really been an earring girl, which is what was so wild to me, that this kind of like took over my life. But I've just always been, I've loved to create. I love to sculpt and like make things. And when I found that, I was like, well, let's try. And so there's me with my little TV tray on the couch, like rolling out clay with an acrylic roller. And now I have like a massive clay roller.
Yeah.
And I was with a little acrylic roller on my TV tray and making
Still
different
staying
things.
serene,
and
right?
Still staying serene.
Okay. Yeah. I love that. And I remember when you told me, just so you didn't give up, and I don't want to say resilient because that's such a buzzword, but man, you didn't give up. And you were just like, I know, I guess I'll ask, did that small business bug hit? Like, ooh, I like this. Having kids at home, I know, to be able to go to sports without having to ask is like money.
Yeah, it was more of like, could this be something? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't sure because I knew nothing about like running a small business or even creating a product to sell. I was making things as like a hobby, just to like give away to people or like do like small craft shows.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it got to a point where I was like, this really is something. And I think it was at the end of 2022, and I had done Carousel of Crafts here at the high school.
Shout out.
Had like a massive success at that show, and my husband was there with me, and he saw it. He was the one that saw it. He saw it before I did, and he said, we had that conversation during my week off from work because our plant shut down the last week of the year, and so we all took vacation usually. And it was during that time we had that conversation. We ran the numbers, and he said, "Put in your notice."
Oh God!
And so I was like,
I love a good husband.
And then I was like, is this gonna work? I was like, okay, yeah, but what about the money? Because that was half our income for our family. And he said, "We'll give it time." And then, much like your story,
yes,
give it time, and then by such and such time, then if it's not working, but gosh darn, I made it work.
Yeah, correct. That's exactly my husband. Same thing. It's, I went for a run, I got fired. I'm like, what in the world am I going to do? Like, there are no videographers in Ohio. I don't want to go to Hollywood. I see what that's turning into. He said, give it 3 months. Really? Yeah, give it 3 months. Okay. And by gosh darn, I made it work in 3 months.
Yeah.
And here we are today. High five. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And your husband helps you. So even more
He
shout out
does.
to your husband.
He's a rock star.
Yeah, mine does too. We don't see a lot of what he does. It's more like, things I'm scared to ask. Like, oh God, numbers. So how does your husband help you? Because I love this too. Actually, I love everything about you.
So he originally started, don't think it was last year, it was the year before. It was when like our business really, really took off, and we were in several stores and we were doing markets every weekend. And I was like, I can't keep up.
Yeah, you can't be split. How
I
in
was
the
like,
world could you?
My hands only work so fast and I need to sleep eventually. And so he was like, well, what if I help assemble? And so I taught him how to open jump rings, how to assemble pieces. He would come out and he would ask me, he's like, okay, well, how does this look? And then I would tell him, I was like, well, you need to go up the next size jump ring. But it was just like, it was so cool like having him as part of it. And now he's even more an integral part of it as we're kind of pivoting again
Yeah.
to different tools.
Was he creative as a kid?
He has actually a degree in photography.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
Get out.
Creative married creative.
Yeah. No wonder why he's like dying to help you. Like, how can we make it so I also can work from home?
And
He's
that's
that's your next goal.
That is
Oh,
our goal, is to have him home and just be able to have that full flexibility. But I don't know, he loves what he's doing now. So
yeah. If you love what you're doing, that's absolutely hang on to it. Is he doing photography?
he
Asking
not as much
selfishly
not
for
as much
myself.
anymore. He so he really focused on landscape, and he
Okay.
did a lot of like really like out there, like things I wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah.
When he did his photography.
Okay.
But it's kind of like he's kind of centered in more of like looking at different creative aspects.
I want to see what he's done. So I want to bring it back. I know during COVID, because this happened to a lot of my small business friends, which is why I love your buzzword, resilience. Well, a lot of the similar things we saw popping up as makers, right? It was really like, oh, someone's having success with soap. Oh, someone's having
Yes.
success with the cups. What did you do in that moment? Because I saw earrings too. You know, you're
there's
not the
still
only
tons of
one.
them out
There's still
there.
tons of them out there.
Yes.
You're not the only one. You are the only one that I also am not a big switching the jewelry girl. But you made these for me.
That
for my
has been one of
seventh-
my favorite pairs I've
yeah,
ever made.
for my seventh She anniversary. I got these very 80 retro. I asked for retro. So what did you do when that moment's happening? And oh my gosh, the same business is popping up. How did you say, like, keep going? Don't worry about it. Put the blinders on.
Like I showed up as myself. Like I designed as myself. I didn't look at what others were designing, and I was like, okay, well, I like that shape. What can I do with it? Or how do I add my brand to it or my creative energy to it, rather than following down a line, which I see a lot of people doing.
Like, this is popular right now. Let me jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
And you keep doing that. So did you announce what how old is your business?
So we turn full time. We turn 4 next month.
Okay.
Coming up February 10th. February
Yeah,
10th,
happy
2022,
birthday.
23 was when I put in my notice.
You're going to have to make birthday
I know, I have a birthday cake at home.
Okay. And do people know what you did announce and launch what you're into?
I've kind of sprinkled in little hints there.
Can you
Yeah.
sprinkle in a little hint how you have continued to, like, next level it?
So last year especially, I had a lot of frustration. So I would design an entire collection for whether it's a holiday, whether it's a season. I would, in my mind, or I would take my iPad, I go into Procreate, and I kind of like sketch things out, like what do I want? Because if not, my ADHD will just take me down to like 100 different styles, and
Or you're
none
just
of
sitting
them
there,
will
like,
be
rolling
cohesive.
shapes, and you're like, I don't know what to do.
Yes, I will get super overwhelmed. So I have to have some kind of structure. And like designing like collection, I really love a collection I came up with, but then having to go back and find cutter shapes or cutter designs to be able to manipulate those into my own designs and kind of pair them with what I see became increasingly difficult.
Okay, so we see a problem,
It's a very big problem.
and so we go ding, and what do we do?
We buy a 3D printer.
Oh.
And so next month we are going to be launching our very own line of polymer clay cutters. And it's like I'm thinking outside the box, and I'm thinking of
Yes.
things that I wanted to do or that I wanted to create that are not there.
Yeah.
And that others may want to because I see that need.
Yeah, you're taking the pain points. I just said this recently to someone. They had got their first not 5-star review, which hurts, right?
does
Or
hurt.
getting feedback from somebody. And I had told her, like, just think of it as taking the listen to it differently, I guess.
Yes.
And look at your wording, or look at the thing like complained about, which
Right.
wasn't really a big thing at all. But look at it, and how can you look at your wording differently? That way, if anybody feels the same way as them, you can address that. So
Yes.
for you, it was, okay, I have reached a problem. How do we keep going forward? If the goal is to have hubby home more, and the goal is to make it so this business funds our life and gets us to meet our mentor
Yes.
on the West Coast.
Yes.
And so what was the aha? I want to know, what were you making when you were like, I can't do this anymore. I need to do this on my own.
To be quite honest, it was the arthritis in my hands.
Really? Okay.
It was just because during the holidays, because he's back to work full time.
Yeah.
And during the holidays, I was like, okay, well, let's see if I can make this work on my own. And just like all like the making, the assembling, packaging, all of it. And doing all of that, just like my hands hurt so bad. By the end, I was done with holiday shows. I had minimal holiday styles left, like inventory, and I pushed everything to the stores that I could. And I was like, I can't make anything else. Like, I am physically tapped out.
Yeah.
And it was at that point, I was like, I can't make that much anymore. Like, I'm physically not able to. And I was like, well, I still want to create and I still want to make things, but what can I do to kind of offset that income, but also like help others? Because there's times at markets where I'll be talking to somebody that just discovered polymer clay and they've just started making earrings. I'm like, yes, you are my people. Because I do not gatekeep. Like I will like spew everything that
Correct.
I know.
Same.
And I will help anybody that wants to learn.
Right.
And I mean, there's some things that I'll hold tight because I've spent tremendous time and money on researching and finding, but in the most part, like I will divulge anything that you ask me. And because I was there at one point, like I want to see that person. If their goal is to stay home with their kids, we're going to get you there.
Yeah. And I relate to also like having pain. So I've had back surgery. So bending down and
Yeah.
doing things and you look outside the box and pivot. One of my things that I tell everybody is that I give away ideas for free. And
You
so,
do.
yeah, I do. I can't help it. I will probably leave here and be like, do you have this earring? Do you have this shape? Do you have this? Just letting you know, have it for free. But with that, I was like, how can I sort of like pull back on the amount that I'm out technically in the field, like shooting and bending and doing things, and how can we give those people a lot more attention, but also supplement that elsewhere? And so coming up with these like group brainstorms that you went
Yes,
to because
yes.
you're an awesome small
was so
business
much fun.
supporter. I appreciate you, but that's where that came from. What are these things that I'm doing for others and I want to do more of, kind of thing? Because it hurts when you hurt.
It does.
And
Getting old is not fun.
It stinks when it's like impeding on the thing that you really, really love. Like I
Yes.
cannot sit for long hours at a time. So it used to be my promise I could do, because of how long I've made video and edited, I could
Right.
wrap up a video no problem in one day, because I just knew it like with my eyes closed. But I can't do that anymore, or I will
Yeah.
pay deeply for an entire week. So I just think it's really cool, and I just wanted to, bring you here and give you your flowers and let you know that I see you and I feel you. And even though you're making earrings and I'm making video, I still our stories are kind of, I hear you and I see you.
They're very intertwined.
They're very intertwined. So I want to bring it back to, I want to bookend it with the book, because I think the book is really important for people who have been fired.
Yes.
And we were talking earlier how it brings stuff back up for you. Like,
does.
it made me feel like I acted like a brat.
Yeah.
And even though it was 7 years ago, I was like, you probably didn't need to call all those people and try to like get them on your side, because you weren't coming back. So what about you? I also think if you didn't get fired, there was good stuff in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just kind of how to like portray yourself and how to handle yourself in different situations.
Yeah. So I have my handy little, I highlighted because I really love this book. So I wrote down a couple of quotes, and I want to see if it conjures up any conversation before we, wrap up our little chit chat together. So All the Cool Girls Get Fired is the name of the book. So one of the things I wrote down, and I never wanted a boss to be able to control my mood, my day, or my life ever again.
1000%. want that. That's why I worked my business full-time hours. I worked in the office full-time hours because I was like, I don't want to feel that again.
Right. And once you get that feeling, and I will say that I have had friends who have tried to start a small business, and it is really not for everybody.
Yes.
Because how many hats are you wearing a day?
All of them.
So many. Like, I don't want to be the financial person.
I don't either.
I'm not your girl. Don't hire me for that. If you want to color, I got you.
Yeah.
But once you get a taste of it, and if you kind of, I guess, are anal about your processes, you can work it out. But I've had people that have come up to me and said, I have no idea how you run a business. It is insane and it is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to read another one. Are you okay with
Sure.
that? Okay, let's go. And you said something that made me highlight this one. My skill set can work in much broader industries. Mm-hmm. So to me, when you talked about that ingenuity that you had to make the pieces and how you're meeting these people, that to me was when you saw, I could be a mentor to these
Absolutely.
kids. Yeah.
And I think that just that speaks on my HR background too, where it's I always wanted to see employees better themselves or grow within their position or get to that next level. And it's always that servant mindset of wanting to help.
Do you bring a lot of the HR to the plate every day? Do you do it in family? Do you do it in business? So
I do
you
it in
don't-
business.
Okay, so you do it in business, but you don't. What's your favorite HR tip that helps? I mean, you cannot Google HR, so don't do that. You need to hire a professional,
Yes.
so I'm not saying that. But what is your favorite, keep this in mind for a small business as far as the HR side?
I think just put people first.
Yeah.
Just in mindfulness. Be mindful, be present. You have to kind of step back sometimes and kind of divulge or kind of process a situation before you react. That was one thing that I really learned in human resources, was something I wasn't always great at it because I am a Cancer and we are fiery, and I was my feelings are here all the time. But I learned to kind of step back and think and process before I would react.
Yeah, pause.
Yes.
A huge pause. Yes. Before you feel yourself go to type.
Yes, before you send that email.
Before you feel yourself about to say the thing, just be pause, and then just turn around, right?
And sometimes I found even typing out the email, I wouldn't necessarily send it, but just typing it out and getting those feelings out kind of brought me a little more peace too. So just don't hover over the send button.
Yeah, you can hit delete.
Yes.
You can just type it out and hit delete. You can also chat it out with my secretary Chat GPT.
Oh yeah.
She's great. So I have a couple more highlighted, and I'm going to read this, and I want to know what you feel about this, because I also feel like you tapped into it. Real power comes from individualism.
Mm-hmm. And I will tell you, our girl Kristen tells me all the time, show up authentically you. And I was at a vision board workshop this past Saturday,
Ooh.
Which was lots of fun. But somebody there told me, you are exactly the person in person that you are on social media. And that's when I realized, that's, it made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, because it's that's my goal is you're going to get what you see.
Yeah. When people say those testimonials to your face, you're can you say that one more time?
Yes,
I'm
I'm
pull out your camera.
right.
I had one yesterday, and someone said to me, oh, so-and-so, they told me they wanted a video just like you got. And I told them, well, hire her. And they said, do you have any advice? And she said, get out of her way. Mm-hmm. And I had goosebumps. I was I need you to say that again.
I love it. Love it.
Okay, one of the things that I thought was interesting that they talk about in the book is getting out of our old habits and broadening our minds and getting out of our ways. And when you're working for someone for a really long time, you get into that habit and you just expect that you're going to be there forever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You expect that they have your back because you have theirs.
Correct. That contract feeling.
Yep.
Yeah. A couple of other things are leveraging your existing skill set, bringing different things to the table, and then you get a lot of signs, see them as opportunities.
Yes.
I said I had two more, but I'm going to read the last two. What you have or don't have in life doesn't matter. It's what happened in your head.
100%. definitely agree with that. Like I don't know, I look back on all the things that have happened through these last few years and everything that was in my head, and it was, I don't know, it's been a cool ride.
It's been a cool ride. And sometimes even if you look back, what was going on in your head. So if I look back at my getting fired now, I told you out there, I was like, oh, I think I was being a brat. I think I said it here. I was being a brat at one point in time, but it felt so important to me that that had happened to me. But like you said, if these things would not have happened to us, we would not be who and where we are today.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why I think that the book was really important. It is really important for people. That I think it's a good preparation tool too.
I do too, yeah.
That it's something you should read, especially acknowledging that piece of, you know, how you react in that situation. You can be a brat.
Yes.
You won't mean to be. You can be feel prepared as you want to be, but yeah. Be centered enough to know what you want to be doing at all times. I think that is really important lesson also for younger individuals.
Yeah.
Too, because if you have that mindset when you get that job and you get that comfortability that they're always going to be here for you, and yeah, doesn't always happen.
No.
Yeah.
And that's a great one for young ones entering the workforce with their first big job too.
Yeah, it is. So, did you recommend the book to anybody?
Oh, 100%.
Did you?
I recommended it to a friend of mine that went through the layoff at Ritzman's. For her to read it as well.
Yeah.
Just to kind of, and she's come back and she's like rocking and rolling and loves her new position that she's at now. She's like great, again, local company, great company. She has like oodles of just positivity to say about her new boss and her coworkers. And Oodles.
I am going to take that word.
But I told her, I was like, even though that you're happy now,
Yeah.
like there's so much, like even just to validate what everything you were going through and everything that you were feeling. So.
Yeah, and you talked in that book too, which I think because I also recommended it to somebody who recently, it was a mutual leave kind of thing, but one of the things we talked about too is like, it's okay, like skip over this stuff.
Yeah.
There's some parts where it's teaching you how to build a resume and how to go out and network, and if you got that nailed down, like just look for these little nuggets, like the ones that I wrote in this book that will push you through to whatever it is that you need to do.
Yeah. I loved hearing that they incorporated other people's stories, like Jamie Lee Curtis. Like I never in a million years thought that she would have been like fired to let go.
Yeah, she had a terrible
She's an
start.
icon.
Yeah. Who else was in there? Oprah was in there. A lot of women, and even some women in the fashion world, because it was 2 women, I believe, from the fashion world, and they pretty much got let go at the same time, and they wanted to burn it down. But then they were like, hey, guess what? All the cool girls get fired, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's important to have the conversation out loud too, because it's one of those things that just feels like it's a stigma, and it's not.
It's not. And I feel like especially with women, like we come back stronger. We build back better.
Yeah.
And
one of the quotes that I have in here that was in the book, I probably won't be able to find it fast enough, but, ladies, the corporate ladder was not originally designed with us in mind.
right.
So if you like any of the things that I said, that book is definitely for you. I've thought about buying it just to have it.
I thought of 2.
Did you?
I have 2. Yeah. I'm getting goosebumps now.
I am too. You guys, it's a Bible. We have to have this on our side just in case. Yeah. And I would say, again, even if you didn't get fired, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's an awesome book.
A lot of good nuggets.
Yeah. Well, our time has come to end together. It is not you, it's me. They're making me do it. I would talk to you all day long about how proud I am of you. I just am so excited, goosebumps, that you thought of Between the Gap. I really think that that's important for everybody just starting a business or people who have been doing the business for a long time, because you never know when that rug comes out from underneath you.
Absolutely.
Either professionally in a corporate world or in your small business, when everybody all of a sudden starts making the same thing.
Right.
So you got to look for the betweens.
Yes.
You do, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
As a
I
small
appreciate it.
I appreciate you very much. And I love my earrings, and you're wearing earrings too, right?
I am wearing
Show 'em
new
off.
ones that are coming out pretty soon.
We'll shut it down with a little dangle of the earrings. Thanks, guys. Thanks, girlfriend.